Just like that. Once again, we back again, family and friend. And we came to win. Win, 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 win. Everything else, win, 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 win. And when you win, WIN, you focus on what's important now. But when we win, just like the radio station, just like the channel, WYN. This is WYN production. What's your name? We making a name for ourselves. And today we have some good content that we're gonna explore. Excuse me. So what I'm gonna do without any further ado, two things I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna talk about how life takes us places and you didn't necessarily see some of the you didn't see some of the instances and the situations happening the way they happen. So well I just start though. And then we're gonna get into Funky Friday with Cam Newton and Ice Cube, of two people that I tend to, follow and see what they got going on and see how things could maybe apply. Or just learn some things, you know what I mean? But one thing about it is I did this show last night, but my mic, the button on my computer was not on, so I had no audio. So I'm back again to do it again. But the thing about it is, we know in life you have three names. The name you're given at birth. Then we know the name you're called by your friends, your family, your peers. Maybe because of something you said, something you did, or something that happened to you. That's how you got that name. Or sometimes people just call you certain things and that's the name they give you. And then the last one is the name that you make for yourself. And I like to focus on that name that you make for yourself because I want us to go out here and be trendsetters and trailblazers. And we know that while I employ you and encourage you to make a good name for yourself, a positive name for yourself, you can very well go out and make a bad name for yourself, man. It's good fruit and it's bad fruit, man. Good seed and it's bad seed. So I'd like to think about, when I first started the show, I said I was going to kind of go through um, my life from as far back as I can remember up until now. But I kind of got off track with that. But now on today's episode, I'm gonna flashback, then I'm gonna flash forward. Excuse me. But the thing of it is this: you had neighbors, you had friends, you had classmates, you had schoolmates, you had peers, you had uh people you associated with. You never knew that when you were playing in the streets or playing in the yard or going over their house playing, coming over my house playing, going places, whether it be to the park, to the movies, to whatever it was. All we wanted to do was be a kid, know each other, interact with each other, and have fun with one another. And as we grew, we went through school. We were exposed to certain things. We were attracted to certain things. We ran to be a part of certain things, and we ran from being a part of other things. But one thing that I know is that you can be in one place for too long. It's just like a plant that's in a pot and it's outgrown that pot, and the roots begin to strangle the life out of that plant because it is restricted. It cannot grow, it cannot stretch, it cannot thrive. It's barely surviving. You're gonna have to change that pot from time to time. And sometimes a tree can be planted in some ground, and for whatever reason, it gets infected, it gets sick, it catches some kind of disease, it's exposed to something, that is ultimately its demise. And that is just a metaphor that I'm thinking about it because I know I have done some things in my past that could have taken me out, but for whatever reason, I was able to see beyond it, see past it, and see that that is not where I needed to be or that's not where I needed to remain. And I was able to move past it, grow out of it, get out of it, find ways to have the mindset and the will and determination to get up out of it. Now, we know that some of your friends, they may end up being, they may engage in illegal activities. Some of them, they may be addicted to certain illegal substances, whether it be drugs, alcohol, or prescriptions, or whatever it is. And sometimes people just get caught up and wrapped up in something based on the decisions that they made. Those choices and those decisions led to consequences. Now, I know some of my people that I have been able to, for whatever season or moment or part of my life, I was around them. I was able to see them. I was able to kind of keep up with them or know what they're doing. And some of them I ain't even known they were doing all this stuff because you lost contact. But that's why I say certain seasons because you're supposed to be in different places or you're supposed to be doing different things in different seasons. But I've had some people that made some choices early on, and those choices led to some consequences, but they were able to weather the storm and move beyond that. They made some mistakes early in their 20s, but now in their 40s, they fine. And I've had some that made some mistakes in their late teens or in 20s that is still causing them struggle, strain, and stress up into their 40s. And I know some adults that have been like that. And I know some it is taking them out completely. They not even here. But all that contributed to what they were known for, or what they were known by. So that's why I say, hey, you gotta make a positive name for yourself. Um, had friends that were doing some stuff that they got away with in their 20s, got away with in their 30s, but here it is in their 40s. They facing a lot of time away from their family. They have lost their freedom. They're in some situation that they can't even pay to get out. They can't even afford to get out. Got some people right now that are not in the right mindset that they should be in. They are alive, but they are not living. They might be surviving, but they're not thriving. Got some people that's somewhat functioning, but you just gotta watch them. And you got some people that's like that in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, and so on. And sometimes it amazes me that how long some people can live in such a dysfunctional state. So that's why I'm just saying that you gotta have a purpose, you gotta have a mindset of having a vision, seeing ahead, seeing around the corner, seeing what's next, blocking out the nonsense and making sure that you focus on yourself. Because sometimes I've heard some people put it this way. Sometimes you have to be selfish enough to take care of yourself in order for you to take care of others. I say it again. Sometimes you have to be selfish enough to take care of yourself in order for you to take care of others. Because if you are not in the best physical or mental or spiritual state, if you're not looking out for you, you're going to allow others to stress you and bring you down and weigh you down and mess you up. And you can't even be what you need to be for somebody that really needs you. Because I just got through watching a movie not long ago, Rob Peace. And I'm not gonna give you the whole movie, but his father placed a burden on him that should not have been his burden, and it cost him tremendously. But the thing of it is, his father should have removed that burden for him because it is not for the child to take care of the father, it is for the father to take care of the child. And that is not just, oh, that applies in a number of different ways for parent. Because sometimes you may want your father around, but sometimes they may not be around, and them not being there may be best for you. As crazy as it might sound, because I've heard people say, and this I'm trying to lighten it a little bit. Person that has a lot of time may not have a lot of money, but a person with a lot of money may not have a lot of time because they'll have so much going on that their time is accounted for, it's documented, it's scheduled for them to be able to be so financially successful. But a person that just ain't got nothing to do, they might just be kind of bumping around. And I'm gonna give you another example. My father, he sold cars and he had to work on Saturdays. But if I had a game on Saturday, if I had, whether it be basketball or football or whatever it might be, he has to work. And Saturday was some of the busiest days, um, the most opportune days to sell a vehicle was on a Saturday. So him missing those games, but he was still able to provide and make sure I had food, clothing, and shelter. That's one of those situations where I'm just trying to get you to say, okay, him not being around maybe have been best. Because if he was to always try and be there, he wasn't gonna have that job very long. But some other fields may afford people the opportunity to be there on those Saturdays. All right. So making a name for yourself. I got one, two, three, four, five sections of this Cam Newton Ice Cube interview that I want you all to observe with me. And let's get into it.
I ever start a movie, it's got to have good ingredients. Yeah. So just like you go to the store and pick up produce, yeah, and all that like to make a good meal. Yeah. Well, the movie got to have. I have all my ingredients lined up first before I ever say this can be a movie. So I'm already starting with a grocery bag full of good ideas. Well, before I even decide to make it a movie. For sure. So, can you talk about the importance of like being a visionary? And a lot of times people don't talk about discipline in the workforce from where we from. Nobody wants to talk about the grind, the hustle, the discipline that it's going to take for you to sustain the success. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So how important is that being from
All right, so ingredients. Ingredients are important. Another word that comes to mind when he talked about the ingredients is the recipe. And what he basically talking about is a plan. That's basically what he's getting to. You have planned out, you have mapped out all the tools, all the resources, all the ingredients that you will need in order to be successful in whatever it is that you're trying to do. In this case, he's talking about creating a production, producing film, TV, movies, but I'm sure you need the right ingredients to do music as well. So I just want y'all to think about the ingredients that are within you and the ingredients that you may have to go out and get in order for you to pursue what you had to pursue. Now, moving ahead, if you can see, we have 11:55 because these are all my time stamps, all of my speaking points that I want to just talk about from this video. Um, at 11:55, and I'm just gonna let it play on through it because Cam was getting into it because as you can see, these are pretty close together. He talks about falling in love with the process and not the results, being process oriented and results driven. That is very important. That is very important in pursuing what it is that you're trying to pursue.
Where we from, different regions, but the same type of struggle. Nobody's really saying, all right, shit, bro, wake your ass up. Go to the studio. Hey, you wrote that, you know what I'm saying, that line, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you gotta fall in love with the process and not the results.
Mm.
See, a lot of people fall in love with the results, and you can all you can be results driven,
Right.
but you have to be the process of making it is what I'm in love with.
Yeah.
The everyday working to make it right for the public, put it together right, hire the right people, set up the right situation, and present quality to the people. You know, that's important too. Can't be a waste of your time and your money.
Right.
You know, so I've learned to fall in love with the process. Usually when I put something out, um, like we put out Straight Outta Compton in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the premiere, but then I haven't looked at it again.
All right, so falling in love with the process. If we can think about it with sports, you got some cats that, if we think about basketball, some guys that are just gym rats, gym bums, just like they gotta go get some shots up. They gonna go hoop every day, every moment, every chance they get. They love it. They about it. And even though they may not go play for that college team or go pro or whatever, they still find a way to be a part of the game. Same thing with a football player. Uh, well, you just gotta love it. You just gotta love the thing, whatever that thing is, because sooner or later there's gonna be how can I say it? Something about it is gonna change. Something about it is gonna stop, and you're gonna have to move into another phase or another level of it. And that's the whole thing of it. If you love the game, you'll find a way to still be around the game. If you love what you're doing, you'll find a way to do it. So you really have to definitely, whatever it is you're doing, fall in love with the process. Now, one thing about it, me right here, I'm creating videos, I'm creating content, and that stuck with me because I feel like I'm at that point where I just love the process. I really just like the process of what I'm doing. Now, it would be cool to monetize. It would be cool to to earn income off of it, but everybody needs some kind of hobby or some kind of outlet that's healthy, that's positive, because some people they may run the streets or smoke, drink, and do all types of other stuff. That's unhealthy behavior. But this, for me, I feel like it's constructive, it's productive, and it's helpful. You know what I mean? So I was talking to a guy, a friend of mine, that I ended up realizing that I motivated him to create more content and produce more content. And I realized that I'm just in love with the process because I'm getting better at putting content out here. I'm getting better at being able to speak in front of this camera for 20, 30, 40 minutes. I'm getting better at adding the transitions, putting the intros and outros and whatever other elements that I may add. I'm getting better at it. And I really just like doing it. And I know that I've always heard over and over and over and over again people saying, well, you might like that particular part, but I didn't really think it was that nothing to it. Or I hear some people that make a song like I ain't like that song necessarily, but people loved it. Or I didn't know that was gonna be a hit. It wasn't about making a hit, it was about doing what they love. And I know that's one of the things that I realized with me with sports. I ain't love it enough. I just really did. I just wanted to play it. I enjoyed playing it. I love playing, but like the practicing and all the other stuff that was around it that was actually making me better at it. I ain't love doing that. You gotta be able to love to do the boring stuff. I got a cousin of mine right now. He coaching in the NFL, and he just loved the game. He loved breaking down film. He loved doing the grunt work. He loved it enough to pursue it and be obsessed with it, to perfect it and grow and evolve with it. But that's what I just encourage everyone to do, man. But fall in love with the process and not the results. Be process oriented, but results driven. You want it to pay off. You want it to take you somewhere, yes. But just be in the moment. Love the moment. All right. We got 3 more points. And then we're gonna get up out of here, y'all.
What prompted you to be curious?
Yeah, that's what it is, man. It's paying attention, giving a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're in a situation, don't just worry about you. Observe, see what's going on, look around, ask questions, be curious. Now, I used to be on the set of videos over there listening to what director and the DP talking about.
Mhm.
While everybody else is, at the trailer or fucking around, I'm paying attention. I'm asking questions. I'm observing. Sometimes you don't have to ask a question. You just look and see how the shit you need. I mean, I'm in here looking at all the equipment, so it's like, oh, okay. This what it take to run the Can show. Funky
They
Fridays.
said.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, pay attention, give a fuck. That's what it takes in most industries to rise.
But you also gonna need an usher too.
Definitely need mentors.
Yeah.
You definitely need somebody that know what they doing.
Mhm.
Somebody that went to school that's willing to show you what you don't know.
And who was that for you in the film?
John Singleton.
All right, I'm gonna stop right there. And before I go any further, man, Cam Newton dressed like that old uncle, or that great uncle, or that dad granddaddy. They just put on anything. Just put on anything, y'all, and walk out the house just like that. That's the look he got on today. All right, but paying attention and giving the flow. Paying attention is important. Pay attention, but it can cost you so much not to. It does not cost too much to pay attention. I just put it that way. It don't cost much to pay attention. Pay attention, man. Because if you don't pay attention, it can very well cost you everything. And one thing about it, he said you got to be able to ask questions and observe, and also just being exposed to something, because I know the more and more I do it, I ran across DoorDash, I ran across a couple other people. I look at, see these some of these cats right here in this um suggestion right here, Shay Shay 85 South, uh, Up in Smoke, All the Smoke, whatever it's called. Pivot, Cam, you know what I'm saying? Real life street stars, whatever it is. Man, these cats here, I pay attention to them because I see what they're doing. Oh, and Clayton English. Clayton English, man. Like paying attention and caring. Finding something to care about and putting yourself into it, putting forth the effort, man. Pay attention and give a fuck is very important, man. It's very important. Now, this next one, I like this point because it's not very long because it really just talks about just being true to yourself. And sometimes people end up trying to be such a people pleaser that they lose who they are, or they don't even know who they are because they're so busy trying to adapt and adjust to everybody else. But they don't know that they don't even realize what their strengths or their weaknesses are and how to use that hand accordingly.
Uh, People got a lot of good sayings, and this is another one. Um, it's easy for everybody to adjust to you in the room and for you to adjust to who everybody else is in the room. That's hard. So make them all adjust to you. Some people gonna like you, some people ain't. That's their problem.
Mm. Yeah, that's hard right there. Listen, we gonna get into a game. You ready?
Huh?
Make people adjust to you, man. And it's gonna be hard sometimes. It may cause you some hiccups, some bumps in the road, but you know what? You have to understand who you are, man. And like you said, sometimes they won't like it. Your boldness, your brashness, your aggressiveness, that might be something that turns people off. But you know what? We know that your bold, your brashness means that you're not afraid of making the tough call. You're not afraid of making a decision. You're not afraid of hurting somebody's feelings. You just say, hey man, we can lay it out here and it is what it is. And we can move on with it. We can grow through it, you know? Adjust. And the final one, he talking about this album that he has out, right? But I'm encouraging everybody to find a way because sooner or later, some of the best leaders know how to follow. But when you lead, you got to know when to trailblaze. And you got to definitely have those mentors and those guiding lights and people or information or stuff like that that you aware of that you have to follow. Your moral compass, you know what I mean? Your what's the word I'm looking for? You have some standards that you must adhere to. You must have that's some stuff you have to follow. But
Albums, conceptual records. It's still people that like records with no skips, just to bang it all the way through.
Yeah.
If you like them all or you like one or two, that's fine. I don't think artists should always, you know, go with the wave of what's going on.
Yeah.
Especially when you've been here a long time. You got to make your own waves. You got to do what you feel and do it how you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm cool, to let the chips fall where they may,
Yeah.
What's great is at this point in my career is fun. I still love it. I'm not worried about charts and all that stuff. A lot of people get excited about it, and it's their job to really be on that. And I love and respect them, and you know, I hope it go high. But long as my day one fans come up and be like, "Cube, I like that album. Yeah, I love that shit." Then that's the gratitude I'm looking for.
So
Exactly. Making waves or riding waves. You don't always have to just say, okay, they doing it, so I'm gonna do it. That can get you in trouble. Like I started out with this episode, that doing what everybody else is doing, that can definitely get you in trouble. Sometimes you have to be bold enough to say, hey man, I'm gonna take this path right here. Hey man, you know what? That's happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna catch this next wave that y'all don't even see coming. Or I'm gonna set this trend. I'm gonna blaze this path. I'm gonna blaze this trail, and this what y'all gonna be on. And sometimes you may be out there so far ahead of the game, and it's gonna take them a while to catch up to you because that happens more often than you realize. You may have been on some stuff 10, 15 years ago, and then next thing you know, here come the world catching up to where your mindset was already. But you gotta be able to analyze, capitalize, and monetize in all those aspects of it. But you definitely want to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. And sometimes you're gonna be a leader, sometimes you're gonna be a follower, but you definitely need to be around the right crew because if you're around the right team, this person may lead in this area that's not necessarily your strength. Whereas you will be a leader and trailblazer in another area where that person may not have the skill set and the know how and the well being. But we are gonna be able to help build one another and grow together. Because right now, opportunities come and opportunities go. It's just like E40 says. History repeats itself, but opportunities don't. You may not have that, you won't have that same opportunity to come right back around again. You're gonna have another opportunity that you're gonna have to be able to recognize it as that and be able to capitalize on it. So definitely do where it works for you and don't try to necessarily be a copycat. Now you may be able to take part or a piece of what somebody else has done, learn from it, and apply it to what you're doing. But I know that for me right now, Cam got way more money than me. Cube got more money than me, and they got a bigger team. But I got what I have, and I know that as long as I'm doing, I'm improving. I say it again. I'm working at it, I'm going, and I'm growing. But as long as I'm doing, I'm improving. I'm not sitting here lost in thoughts. I know that somebody else can maybe see this and then they can say, hey man, you know what? Try this or try that. Or did you think about this or did you notice that? Or they may say, hey man, you know what? You going the right way. Keep going. Keep going. But do what works for you, man. And go out and make that name for yourself because in life, we have three names. The name you're given at birth, the name that you were called by friends, family members, and loved ones, and that name that you make for yourself. Go out, be great, make a wonderful name for yourself. Be blessed.